Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Shaunneka and today's class is going to be all about the back body. So targeting your hamstrings, your hips, and your spine. So whether or not you have low back pain or you're just looking to increase your overall spinal flexibility, then this class is going to be for you. So for this class you will need 2 blocks, a blanket, a towel, or a soft pillow. So we'll go ahead and get started right away with our first posture, which is dangling, and that is done standing up, and you will need your blanket or towel. So before I stand, I just want to show you I've taken this towel, this blanket, and I folded it nice and thick, and we're going to place this part here just below your hip creases. Grab your block and just have it handy at the center of the mat. Either at its lowest or second highest height. So coming to stand, you're going to bring your feet as wide as your mat, just wider than hips width distance, and place the blanket or the towel in your hip creases. You're going to take a nice big inhale and fold forward. And just allow the head to hang heavy and the belly to drape and the chest to drape on top of the blanket or pillow. Nice deep breaths. If you're noticing that it's too much strain to be forward folding like this, you can always bring both blocks out in front of you and place your hands on the block and just rest like this. So while you're in this pose, just notice if you're leaning too far back, too far forward. Just finding a nice balance. Nod your head yes and no. The key in this pose is to really just allow the head to drop. Allow the shoulders to drop. Our skull alone is about an extra 15 pounds. Just really releasing this weight here. Last few breaths here before we transition. take our last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. And side out. 1 more inhale. And exhale. So gently now lifting the gaze. If you have your hands on the blocks, keep them there. And just go ahead and turn your toes out and your heels in. So we're just going to sway from side to side, making our way down into a malasana or yogi squat. So you can remove the blanket, adjust the block as you would need to, and come and sit all the way down. You can adjust the height as needed. You don't even need to use the block if you don't need to. You can bring your bum all the way to the mat, bringing your hands to prayer, and you're using your elbows to open up the knees gently. This pose here is also nice to do when you're watching TV. Usually when I'm watching TV, I don't really sit on the couch. I'm always sitting on the floor, but sometimes I'll slide down the front of the couch and just lean back against the couch while I'm watching TV. Feeling a nice opening through the groin. For me, I'm feeling this through the inseam of my hamstring and my adductors, my inner thighs. Feeling a slight stretch in my low back. Last few breaths here. Last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. And sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. Gently opening the eyes. If you're sitting on to the blocks, go ahead and just remove the block from underneath you. Remove your blanket to bring your feet out in front of you. And just bring your hands behind you and gently windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And just finding a moment of stillness. So we'll prep for our next posture, which is caterpillar with a variation. So as always, if when you're sitting on the mat and you go to touch your toes, you tend to lean back or hinge back to try and reach your toes, I always recommend taking that towel or blanket, folding it, and sitting on the thickest part to prop your hips up, to tilt your pelvic bones forward slightly. So you can go ahead and sit on the towel or blanket or not. From here, you're going to take your right ankle and cross it over the left. Inhale to find length, and exhale, fold forward any amount. Always looking to find space in the low back. So notice if you're rounding, and again, lift through the chest. That action is always, you always want to imagine like you're sticking out your bum. I know I say that in every class, but it's really important. It really helps to feel that length, that opening of space in the low back. Last few breaths here. Take our last two breaths before we transition. Nice big inhale. And a nice side of the mouth. One more inhale. And exhale. Gently walk yourself all the way back up. Uncross the right ankle. And you're going to swing your left leg out behind you, setting up for pigeon. So bringing your right shin parallel to the top of the mat if you can. If you can't, just make sure you point the toes and draw the ankle in closer towards the groin. So inhale here, find length, square off your hips towards the front of the room. And when you're ready, exhale, fold all the way down to the mat. So again, if your right hip doesn't come to the floor, you can always place your towel underneath there or your block. Nice deep breaths. Notice how much pressure you're pushing into your elbows. Maybe walk your elbows out wider. Last few breaths here. Let's take our last two breaths. Nice big inhale through the nose. Sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. Moving slower than you would like. Lift the gaze. Push into the palms. Rise all the way back up. Lean the weight or keep the weight in that right hip and extend the left leg out in front of you. Bend both knees. Bring your hands behind you. Just very gently windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Before finding just a brief moment of stillness here. So let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So this time extend the right leg straight. You're going to take the left ankle and cross it over the right. Inhale, find length. And then when you're ready, exhale. Always looking to find length, reach the chest forward, and then fold. So if you're wondering why we're crossing our ankles over, when we do this, it targets a little bit into the QL, so you should feel a nice stretch in the outer left hip, only slightly. And of course, through the back of the hamstring. Last few breaths here. Last two breaths before we transition. Nice big inhale. And side out. Inhale. And exhale. Gently lift the gaze. Walk your hands back in. Coming to sit upright. This time you're going to bend the left shin, bringing your left shin parallel to the top of the mat and sweep your right leg behind you. So setting yourself up for your pigeon. Again, if your shin cannot come parallel to the top of the mat, just make sure that your knee to your big toe is in one nice long line. Find length, square off through the hips, and when you're ready, fold forward. So this side is definitely feeling a lot tighter for me today. Remembering to relax the belly and the jaw, the kneecap. Noticing how much pressure you're pushing into your elbows. Maybe inchworm them closer to the top of the mat. Last few breaths here. Let's go ahead and take our last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. And side out. One more inhale. And exhale. Again, moving slower than you would like, pushing into your palms, into your elbows, walking yourself all the way back upright. Lean the weight into your left hip. Bring your right leg out from behind you, in front of you. And we'll go ahead and lay all the way down onto the mat. Bringing your feet as wide as your mat. Just allow the knees to knock in for constructive rest. Maybe you sway your knees from side to side. Just finding a few breaths here. And when you're ready, extending your legs out wide and your arms out wide for your Shavasana. Slowly now, wiggling the fingers and the toes, rotating the ankles and the wrists. Let's go ahead and take the arms up overhead for a nice long body stretch. Reach, 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 reach. And just allow your bones to drop heavy. Go ahead and bend the knees, rolling over onto the side. Cradle your head, your upper arm here. Keeping your eyes closed, coming up to a seat. Let's seal our practice here with a nice big inhale. Fill up. Open the mouth and sigh it out. Gently opening the eyes. Yogis, I hope you enjoyed this short Yin Yoga sequence for spine flexibility, low back ease, and generally just a nice way to open up everything in the posterior chain, everything in the back body. If you like this class, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, tell your friends and family, maybe they might like my content, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.